We and the rest of the world learned that Mullah Omar, the leader of the Afghan Taliban, had in fact died 2 years earlier, which subsequently derailed the second meeting of the Murray process that had been scheduled. There is an urgent need now to get the political process back on track so it can reduce the violence in Afghanistan. A further deterioration of security in Afghanistan and a worst-case scenario, return to the anarchic days of the early 1990s or the tyrannical rule of the Taliban in the late 1990s, will not only be devastating for Afghans, but highly destabilizing for Pakistan and the broader South and Central Asia region. There now seems to be a greater consensus than ever before within the region on the need for security and stability in Afghanistan. And there's an urgent need to build on this consensus to push an inclusive peace process forward. In this regard, I think we all should be encouraged by the joint statement that was released by the Prime Minister and President Obama in the wake of their conversation yesterday. And let me just quote a passage from it, if I may. Both leaders expressed their commitment to advance an Afghan-owned and led peace and reconciliation process between the Afghan government and the Afghan Taliban, and called on Taliban leaders to enter into direct talks with Kabul and work toward a sustainable peace settlement. We know this is a priority for the Prime Minister, and we welcome his and everyone else's efforts to promote peace in this critically important region of the world. And now it is my honor and privilege to introduce the Prime Minister. His Excellency Mia Mohammad Nawaz Sharif is the current Prime Minister of Pakistan. His inauguration in June of 2013 followed elections in which, for the first time, a government selected through the ballot box completed its rule and was able to hand over power to another civilian government elected through the ballot box. Prime Minister Sharif became the first person in Pakistan's history to hold the office of Prime Minister 3 times, having previously served non-consecutive terms from 1990 to 1993 and 1997 to 1990. Prior to his first election as Prime Minister, he served as Chief Minister of Punjab, Pakistan's most populous province, from 1985 to 1990. Mr. Prime Minister, it is a pleasure to have you with us here again today. Please, the podium is yours.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. President, United States Institute of Peace, Nancy Lindborg, Chairman Steve Hadley, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to address this distinguished group of scholars, professionals, media representatives, and members of Washington's policy community for the second time in the past 2 years. I want to thank the U.S. Institute of Peace I would also like to commend the outstanding contribution made by the Institute to promote scholarship and understanding about issues concerning international peace and security. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan is an old and indispensable friend of the United States. Friends need to revive and renew their relationships from time to time. I am visiting Washington to reaffirm and reinforce our important relationship. Since I was here 2 years ago, Pakistan has witnessed several positive developments. Domestically, democracy has been strengthened, terrorism is being combated, the economy has been stabilized, and is poised for rapid growth. Yet, we still face external challenges to pacify Afghanistan and normalize relations with India. Ladies and gentlemen, let me briefly highlight each of these developments. Let me turn first to our strengthened and resilient democracy. In 2013, Pakistan saw a landmark transition when power was transferred after the May 2013 elections from one elected government to another. For the first time in the history of Pakistan, in the following year, when political agitation was launched by one party, all the other parties came together in the parliament in defense of the democratic process. This now reflects a firm national consensus with an independent judiciary, a free media, and a vibrant civil society. Democratic institutions and traditions are becoming stronger in Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, the second area I want to highlight is counterterrorism. When my government was elected, it faced a formidable internal security challenge. Pakistan had lost 50,000 civilians to terrorist attacks emanating from multiple sources, and violence was on the rise. 2 years later, we have turned the tide against terrorism in Pakistan. We made a strategic choice to eliminate all terrorist groups through a comprehensive strategy involving forceful law enforcement actions and targeted military operations. This is as much a moral obligation as a security imperative. We have done it in our own national interest, not at the behest of others. Our military operation Zarb-e-Azb, launched in June 2014, the largest anywhere in the world, has produced remarkable results. Terrorist sanctuaries, command and control, and infrastructure have been totally destroyed. Thousands have been killed or captured. The rest are on the run. As the operation goes into its final phase, the few remaining hideouts will be cleared. Simultaneously, through well-coordinated intelligence-based law enforcement operations across Pakistan, the government has launched a focused campaign against terrorist sleeper cells, their supporters, sympathizers, and financiers. Following the horrendous and cowardly attack on a school in Peshawar last December, the entire country united to fight the evil of terrorism. We devised a comprehensive national action plan to fight terrorism through a multi-pronged strategy, combining military action, law enforcement operations, choking terrorist financing, and countering the extremist narrative. Our strategy has produced impressive results. The past year has seen the lowest number of terrorist attacks and suicide bombings since 2007. This significant improvement in the security situation could not have been possible without the resolve of the people.